Hello and welcome to Magic Park for round 17 of the PlayStation 4 NPL Northern New South Wales. 3/4 of the season are done and dusted, and this afternoon it's a clash of the Titans on a beautiful sunny afternoon. Lambton Jaffas will be running from left to right of screen, both sides just switching over after the toss, and Magic from right to left in their red. They're looking to make it 7 wins in a row this afternoon. Lambton, they're looking to make it back-to-back victories after a win last weekend against Lake Macquarie. Referee this afternoon is Stephen Laurie. Probably say this season the premier referee of the competition. And the weather, 18 degrees. Well, it probably does sound a little bit chilly. There's hardly a cloud in the sky, if a cloud in the sky, around Magic Park this afternoon. So we're about to get underway. Michael Kantorowski and Joel Griffiths in the centre circle for Lambton. Kantorowski against his former club and also against his brother Alex this afternoon. So Stephen Laurie sends us on our way. Lambton Jaffas haven't won against Broadmeadow in their last 3 matches. Can that change this afternoon, boys?
Yeah, I think, Bart, that it's certainly one of those games where it can go either way, isn't it? I mean, I don't want to sound like a fence sitter here, but you just think that whoever gets the early grip on play and goal potentially could go on with it. We've seen Magic do that this year when they've got in front. They've held on to things, and similar with Lambton as well. Smudge.
Yeah, this is an intriguing battle. You got one team, Lambton, playing for the premiership today, even though it's still a few rounds to go, where the other team, Magic, are playing for a top 4 spot. So it's going to be very tight either way. But for me, the round, I think, what round was it, Bart? The first round.
Round six.
Yeah, round 6. What a great game it was at Lambton Park, and I thought Magic just shade them there today. They've got momentum going into this game. So yeah, I'm not a fence sitter either, but I think the momentum's going to stay with Magic. But in saying that, it's going to be very tight.
Yeah, 1-1 it was in round 6. A pair of penalties each. A pair of penalties, one each. Cale Bradbury and Joel Griffiths from either side. As this one called in, and Fadcevic almost sat up for Bradbury, but I'm thinking it was Fadcevic that was offside.
But what a great ball in by Mitch Oxborough. The way he dipped just over the first defender.
Scored in their last 2 matches. He's only played 3 for Broadmeadow. There was the flick on from Fadcevic, and Brad Swancott making a great save. Reflex save. He's like a fine wine, isn't he? Gets better with age, Brad Swancott.
He's been very good this year, hasn't he, CT?
Yeah, I think that he's been really just stepped it up again another notch this year. To be honest, he's been fantastic.
Fadcevic goes infield for Bradbury. Goes back out for Oxborough, who goes over the top. Gee, he's got the ball on a string, hasn't he, Mitch Oxborough?
Yeah, he's one of the best passers of the ball in the competition.
Well, here he is again. 2 matches in a row now he scored. As I mentioned, we've got Ryan Griffiths, who scored in all 4 of his matches. So those 2 should be on the lookout for both Ryan Griffiths for Lambton and Mitch Oxborough for Broadmeadow Magic this afternoon, as Oxborough threads the pass to Vigili down the left edge, and it will be an early corner for Magic.
We've spoken about the inclusion of Oxborough into the side here, Smudge, earlier a couple of weeks ago out at Valentine, and his inclusion, and if nothing else, a confidence boost.
Here's the flick on. It was a throw, my mistake, and now Luke Vigili. It's Luke Remington who has been given a bit of a clip by Kantorowski. The free kick goes the way of the Jaffas. It didn't look great, did it, for Remington?
Let's have another look at that.
Yeah, Kantorowski's coming back into the side. Scott Robinson out from Magic today, with moving Johnny Griff back to the left fullback role, and Alex Kantorowski comes into the centre of the park. I think Charlie Cox was unlucky not to get a start today. He's been fantastic for Magic in the previous few weeks. A very good player, but Kantorowski comes in the side for Scott Robinson.
Well, the point that I was going to make before is that Broadmeadow have come into some sort of form in recent weeks, probably last 6 weeks, I guess. They've been doing really well, and their confidence level is very high, but they're playing against a team that's coming first. It'll be really, whoever gets his first goal for me is going to get a lot of confidence out of that to think that they can actually go on with it. And if Magic get a first goal here, I won't be surprised to do really well this afternoon.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you, CT.
You wouldn't disagree.
I think the key areas here are the pockets, the right and left-hand side upper pockets. Lambton playing with a back three, Magic playing with a front three.
Shane Paul with the header away. Scored in this fixture last year, the corresponding fixture where Broadmeadow won 4-2 at Arthur Eden Oval.
Great ball.
Round 11 it was last year as Ryan Griffiths cuts one back towards the middle and Piddington with the header away. Now for Verity. Goes back for Ben Hay.
Oh.
Now with Kantarovski. Steps away from a couple.
He'll be in for a big game. Kantarovski playing against his brother and former club.
Wide for Verity and back for Kantarovski and Josh Piddington. He read that one very well. Ryan Griffiths is unable to get to the ball first, and it allows James Virgili now to go down the right, cut in field. He gets away from Sessions, who used his body to his advantage. And it will be a corner for Broadmeadow Magic.
Yeah, Sessions did very well there. I liked how the back three of Lambton actually backed off.
I guess that's a real key for me at the moment, because what we'll see is, you've got the strike power of Broadmeadow and how they'll be running at three defenders effectively. So that matchup's going to be really interesting.
Oxborough calls in the corner. Swancott didn't quite get a piece of that, and then put over the bar by Piddington from close range.
Yeah, you're right, CT. I think the key is, with Lambton playing with a back three, there's pockets in the left and right hand side and those far sides where Virgili and Fajovic can exploit. And if they stay high and wide, the back three are going to split, and therefore there's going to be a lot more holes through the centre of the park for the likes of Oxborough and the midfielders running through.
Yeah, I totally agree with that, because what Joe Wilhouse did well, he screened in front of them, and he really acted as a defender when he needed to. I didn't see that in the movement when Broadmeadow were running at the back three. I just saw three defenders, and that was it.
So I think the key for Lambton, and talking to Pascoe prior to the game, is to put pressure on the ball so the ball can't be played into Fajovic and Virgili. So there's pressure on the ball higher at the park, which is going to sort of eliminate that sort of attacking option for Broadmeadow.
It's Matt Hoole looking for Bradbury.
Ooh.
McNaughton goes wide for Ridge Marpu. He's had his injury problems this year as Ridge Marpu, but Dino Fajkovic is there. Marpu using his body to try and win possession back for the Jaffas. McNaughton goes back to Odell. Stabs it over the sideline. Lambton first on the ladder, 32 points there. Two clear of Edgeworth, who play this afternoon against the Jets youth. Broadmeadow Magic, they were fifth coming into this round, but they've dropped back to sixth after Maitland recorded a 3-2 victory over Western yesterday at Rockwell Automation Park. An important 3 points for Maitland. They probably got away with it in the end, not their best performance. Western put on a strong showing in front of their home fans.
It would have been tough for Maitland even to get up for the game, even though it's the El Clasico, you call it, Bart. But after their loss last week to Edgeworth, the last-minute kick of the game, they would have been deflated. So full credit for them to getting up for the game and getting the result. And
it was good to see one of us up there supporting the Coalfields derby. Don't know where you two were. Where were you yesterday? It's Griffiths. Just a lad off to his brother.
I was actually watching Paw Patrol at Garden City with the kids.
Yeah, I think I was. I was at home with my family as well. Smudge.
McNaughton now goes wide for Marpu. Now for Griffiths, just holding the ball up expertly and drawing the foul from Griffiths and Kantarovski. Well, we mentioned that bump on Luke Remington earlier. A lot of the Lambton faithful thinking that may have been a yellow. This time he does go into the book, Alex Kantarovski.
Yeah, silly. That's silly from Alex Kantarovski. There's a long way to go and he's on a yellow already. But just going back to Joel Griff, the way he held that ball up, that was pure class. Johnny Griff didn't have to dive in there. Just allowed Joel Griffith to pass the ball backwards. There was no threat, but now they're under threat here.
So Liam O'Dell towards Ryan Griffiths at the back post, and his shot picked out Giantsopoulos. It was a couple of metres to the other side. May have been a different story. James Virgili away from Hay, and now Shane Paul. Goes across the ground to
So there's no width
Luke
here for
Virgili.
Magic.
Bradbury trying to thread it through it. Haven't had a great run here at Magic Park this season, as Ryan Griffiths is definitely offside. We've played 7 matches here. They've only won 3 of those 7. Recently, though, they've been good. Wins over the Jets Youth, and most recently they knocked over Charlestown here 2-0 last weekend. A match which Coach Ruben Zadkovic felt could have been more if they've taken their chances. That probably has been the story of Magic's season, hasn't it? Just taking their chances, and they've done so over the last 6 matches, and it's shown because they've won all 6.
And the other story is they've given away 10 penalties.
And they've conceded 24 goals. That's a high percentage, isn't it?
But they've got such attacking players, haven't they, CT? Fajovic, Bradbury, Virgili, now Oxborough coming into the 10, Haynes on the bench. They should be scoring goals. They should be creating goals.
Yeah, and I guess back to that point we were talking about with the back three before, it's not the balls I'm concerned for Lambton that are being played into the feet of the strikers of the Magic guys. It's actually when Broadmeadow are running 3 and 4 guys at 3 players. That's where I think that there could be potentially an exposure.
And that's where I'd like to see Bradbury.
Well, here's Alex Kantorowski again. He's lucky to be staying on the park here. That is unbelievable. He's thrown the ball away, and he's already on a yellow card. He's could be very lucky that he's staying out on the park there, Smudge. I just don't quite understand that from him. He's an experienced player, and
he's a smart chap as well. I think the first yellow was just so silly.
And then they're throwing the ball away, and the Lambton players were baying for another yellow card. And maybe if he wasn't already on a yellow, he would have received one there. So it's one of those ones where it doesn't warrant a red card.
He needs to be very careful because he's the type of player who likes to win challenges as well.
Ryan Griffiths curling this one in. Giantsopoulos with the punch. Fajkovic gets it clear. And Cale Bradbury touches back for Oxborough, who almost found Virgili. So Ben Hay tries his luck. It was dipping towards goal. Giantsopoulos there to take nicely. Rumours around that he may not be at Broadmeadow next year.
And Oxborough took a little bit of a bump there.
As here is Virgili down the right. That'll be a fascinating contest this afternoon. Virgili up against Michael Sessions. And here's Virgili, still going James Virgili. And just didn't get the contact he would have liked on the shot.
Yeah, Sessions needs to be very careful. He doesn't want to stay too close to him because Virgili will burn him for pace.
Yeah, and Sessions is such a strong guy too, and what he does very well is he holds players up. But Virgili's got a very contrasting attacking style in that he loves to drive at the box, and that's where Sessions needs to be careful not to give away a penalty.
Ryan Griffiths looks for Joel.
And see Ryan Griffiths win that header. He jumped about half a second before Johnny Griff did in the air in front of him. That's a sign of a class player.
Here's Alex Kantorowski.
So this is what I like. Dino Fadge is high and wide. They're splitting the back three, and there's gaps everywhere. They can get a ball in the feet, a runner going forward beyond the back three. There's gaps everywhere, Broadmeadow. They're nice and wide. This is what they weren't doing that opening 10 rounds.
Certainly weren't. And see where we're playing in the middle of the park more often before it was in the back line.
Yeah,
here's
right.
Paul to Fajkovic. Bridge Marpu got in front of him and then did well to win just the goal kick in the end for Lambton.
Yeah, on your point there, CT. Yeah, exactly right. Before they were just playing sidewards and backwards. The back four would have about 20 passes between them, where now they're having about 2 passes, getting it in the midfield, getting it wide and high. And that's been a contrasting difference in the last 6 or 7 rounds, hasn't it?
And that's exactly is why I believe they're a different side, Smudge, and you've picked it out perfectly.
Here's Riley McNaughton. Right he goes. Oxborough back on the ball for Magic. And now he chips one over the top for Virgili. Just whenever he has the ball at his feet, he's creating opportunities, isn't he, Mitch Oxborough?
But he looks up and looks forward. Most of his passes are either sideway or forward. You don't see him pass the ball back that often.
Luke Vigili. It's the outstretched boot to ensure Ryan Griffiths didn't get on the ball. And now Kantarovski. Well, Luke Remington's gone into the book here. Those two had a clash earlier in the match where Kantarovski cleaned up Remington, and on this occasion, Remington's boot collecting Kantarovski.
I think that was a harsh yellow, actually, because Kantarovski came in from behind. He had his boot raised. He probably didn't see Kantarovski. Like, it was accidental. So I thought it was a bit of a...
Yeah, and it certainly, well, it got him in the
Yeah,
beat.
I suppose it did get him, yeah.
Josh Piddington. Well, he copped one in the head against the Jets youth a few weeks ago.
Yeah, just on Josh Pennington, he announced that his lovely wife, Lauren, is pregnant and due in, I think, around January. So Shane Paul's wife's due in a few months as well. So there's babies galore at Magic at the moment.
So, Smudge, so what, they're probably 8 weeks on, I'm guessing?
12.
12, is it?
Yeah.
That's good. I was just wondering whether there's any correlation between that and the change of form for the club.
Yeah,
I'll let you dig that one, CT.
Well, at least now they're focused, the boys.
Actually, CT, I've got a question for you.
This will be good.
I've asked you this one before, but I just want to see if you get it right again, or you actually got it wrong last time. The three Griffiths boys, Adam, Joel and Ryan, which two are the twins?
It is Joel and Adam. There we
Correct.
go.
And what else is special
so
about the three
absolute
combined?
jag. They all live at home together? I don't know.
Now, they're all born on the same day.
Why would you know that?
Here's Remington over the top. Here is one of the brothers. Very similar to last week, the goal he scored against Lake Macquarie, but he couldn't keep it on target, and he was offside anyway, Joel Griffiths. But what a good crowd we've got in this afternoon. Just behind the goals at the southern end of Magic Park. You can always tell if it's a big crowd if there is a large throng of people back at that end.
Well, it's such a beautiful day. It's a great day to be outside and soaking up the sun. So
It's hard to believe it's winter, eh?
Oh.
It's beautiful.
Luke
Vigili just launches one over the top.
Have to say, Smudge, I mentioned to you this morning I played golf at Toronto. Your mate Darren Greens.
Oh, yeah, Greeny, yeah.
Yeah, and when we had a look at the temperature gauge out there, it was 4 when we teed off, and there was frost on the ground, so it was beyond chilly.
How many balls you lose, mate?
About 6.
6, that's all right. Wait, no, you only played 9.
So free kick for the Jaffas here. Reminder, other matches on this afternoon. Edgeworth up against the Jets Youth, Charlestown against Hamilton, and Lakes against the resurgent Rosebuds. Griffiths looks for Ben Hay. Been very much a chess match, this one. Both sides cancelling each other out thus far.
Yeah, it's been very tight. Just on Ryan Griffith again, he just holds the ball up so well.
This battle between Marpu and Fajovic is a good one too. I've liked the way that Marpu's come out. He's been strong early in the game. He's made some crucial tackles, and he's been in an attacking fashion as well. So,
yeah, it's going to be a very good battle with him and Luke Vigili.
Yeah, I was talking about Marpu just for that moment, but yeah, and look, they may swap sides as well, so it could end up being that way. But he's certainly come out with intention to make his presence felt. He's sitting with Bradbury at the moment.
So another Lambton throw is Magic unable to keep possession.
So, boys, we had another big result during the week. Valentine beating the Jets, and a brilliant goal by Daniel Miners.
Well, that has to be up there for goal of the week this week, I'm sure, on the show.
They'd be happy. They'll be close to goal of the year as well. They'll be pushing for goal of the year. That was an absolute blinder from about 35 or so out.
Yeah, that was a wonder strike. I'll tell you what, Chris Hurley scored a ripper for Western earlier in the season against the Jets Youth, so they've copped some pretty good goals this season, the Jets Youth. I'd say that one's up there. Chris Hurley's Daniel Miners. He scored a couple of bombs this year.
We also had the young guy from the Ruben Zakovic lookalike from Edgeworth.
Aaron Apetesano.
Yeah,
that's
right.
another
That was a bullet,
strike.
yeah. Bit of a stop-start game, hasn't it? Been a lot of free kicks. It's very cagey affair at the moment, isn't it? It's not free-flowing.
And there's a lot riding on it because especially
Either way, isn't there?
Lambton lose this afternoon, and they pretty much, if Edgeworth win this afternoon, the minor premiership race, well, it's all in Edgeworth's favour as Bradbury wins the free kick and looks to play it on quickly. If Magic lose this afternoon, their finals hopes, if Hamilton win, in all sorts of trouble. So it does depend on other results. But
yeah, and I think if Magic lose and Hamilton win, it's going to make it a bit difficult for Magic. But they're still in, they're still in a good position. And like I said, this game's got a long way to go.
Magic have got that FFA Cup match against Moreton Bay in a few weeks' time. 2nd of August up at Walter Park at Moreton Bay. It's the NPL side from Queensland. They've got a big few weeks ahead of them, Broadmeadow. A lot on the line in both competitions. So Matt Hoole and Mitch Oxborough standing over the ball.
Just on Matt Hill, he's been very good at right fullback. The introduction of Matt Hill at right fullback.
So it will be Hoole curling it in, and the ball scrambled away.
Great ball
by the Jaffas. It will be the free kick to them in the end. Dangerous moments.
To be honest, I can't see too many goals in this game. There's just going to be a goal or two in it, I think. It's going to be very tight, go right down to the full 90 minutes for me. And in the opening 15 minutes, that's what we've seen. There's barely been a chance. It's all been played in the middle of the park.
Yeah, with a lot of turnover as well.
Yes, I mean, it's been very cagey. There's been a lot of turnover, CT. And a lot of fouls as well, hasn't it? It's been stop-starting.
Here's Bradbury. The throw goes the way of the Jaffas. It's been a hard match to get into the opening 21 minutes. Dino Fadcevic, another man that Magic will be looking for this afternoon. He's found some goal-scoring touch of late. Griffiths looks to win a free kick, but Stephen Laurie waves that one away. Scored 3 goals in his last 4 matches in the NPL. And they're his first 3 of the season, so it took him a while to get off the mark. And this match, as we see Magic win the free kick from decent range here, the match in round 6 was actually Fadcevic's first back in the top grade after playing in 20s for the opening part of the season, and he probably could have had a couple of goals early on in that match.
He was very good that night, wasn't he?
They've got some artillery on the bench, Broadmeadow, today. Peter Haynes, Scott Pettit, Brad McKenzie, the backup goalkeeper, maybe not artillery, but Charlie Cox there as well. And Lawrence Fotef. As Hoole curls it in, Swancott gets there first. And a shock scoreline. Well, maybe not a shock. Charlestown leading 1-0 against Hamilton Olympic. Again, Hamilton conceded the first goal.
Yeah, that's a danger game for Hamilton, I thought. I've tipped Hamilton, but there's quite a few players from Hamilton going to Charlestown next year. It's a danger game for Bolchi.
Oxborough curls this one in, and Brad Swancott, easy as you like, straight into the breadbasket and allows Ben Hay to charge down the middle of the park. Goes
ball.
wide for Griffiths. He's got Mapu with no one on him on this near side. Lovely ball. It's Mapu, and it'll be the throw for the Jaffas. Luke Virgili's clearance skews off his boot. And now Remington decides to try his luck, but it didn't have the conviction required.
It must be difficult for coaches and players with so many players and coaches committing to other clubs for next year. And there's still another, 5 or 6 games to go. And that's what I think we're seeing a lot of mixed results at the moment. Your thoughts, so too?
Well, it's always a difficult one, isn't it? And as a player, you want to kind of work out what you're doing next year. As a coach, you need to know what you're doing, and also who you're going to be, who you're going to be working with next year. So it's kind of, they call it silly season. It is. It's difficult.
I really felt like Hamilton would lift more than they have for Michael Bulch as Remington curls this one in. Griffiths with the flick on, but no one at the D to at least create a scoring opportunity there. Everyone in front of the ball. And the chance goes begging for Lambton. Alex Kantorowski. Back for Oxborough. Vigili. Now for Shane Paul in the middle of the park. Players player last season, Shane Paul. And really, you could say as Vigili goes down and Stephen Laurie has found a free kick on the edge of the area here.
It's exactly what we're talking about before. It wasn't anything other than what we're talking about, except maybe it was going to be a penalty, but fortunately for him, it was deemed outside the box.
Yeah, it was pretty close. Yeah, very close.
That's the danger. We spoke about that before, where Vigili's going to drive in at the box, and Sessions, his strength, he's just got to be careful not to bring him down because he will drop as he's driving, as he just did.
So Mitch Oxborough on his left boot. His only A-League goal was from a free kick. He goes low and he doesn't get the height required there.
Well, that would appear uncharacteristic for Oxborough. He would have thought that he'd get something on target. Certainly Swancott was on full alert.
Here's Vigili. It was a rare disappointing moment for Mitch Oxborough. Here's Vigili. Shipping it over the top, looking for Fajkovic. Sessions rises and Nathan Verity has been playing at the back for Lambton since Nathan Morris was injured.
Oh, nice touch.
Luke Remington tries to find Griffiths. A throw with Broadmeadow through Matt Hoole. 26 minutes gone here at Magic Park and still 0-0. And neither side, you'd probably say, with a golden moment to open the scoring. It's Verity been a cagey affair, you'd probably say. Limited chances, both sides cancelling each other out. And if you're joining us, you probably haven't missed much, to be honest.
It looks like a game that no team wants to lose. Oh.
It's Kantorowski. Here it opens up for Magic Fajkovic.
Oh, great save.
And again, Brad Swancott thwarts Broadmeadow Magic.
Got himself low, Swancott, and just was ready to drop either way, and as it came straight at him into his pegs. And it's another great save and just continuing on with good form for him this year.
Would you say this is as good as he's played for a few years, Brad Swancott?
Look, I've watched him closely since I've coached him, and I can't say that I've seen him have a better year, but Smudgy, you've known him for a long time as well, of course.
Yeah, he's a quality goalkeeper, Swanee, but yeah, I think he's been in fine form this year. Like Bart said before, he's just getting better with age.
I thought potentially Luke Vigili may have got a touch on that before it went over the byline. Joel Griffiths.
That looked like a corner for sure.
Joel Griffiths felt so as well. The Magic fans obviously didn't, and the linesman felt the same way as the Magic fans.
Let's get another look. Well, it was... Yeah. I'll tell you what, it looked on the screen that he did get a foot on that.
Oh.
We need the hot spot.
Yeah, the games I've seen Swancott play, he's been outstanding, hasn't he? He made some absolute tremendous saves.
Yeah, and he just he's the sort of guy that just naturally is a confident human, and he keeps himself fit, and he's just no reason not to keep on going. I mean, as a goalkeeper, we know you can just go longer than outfield players, but he's just keeping himself fit, and he's just been quality.
And he's had a tough year personally as well with the passing of his mum as well. So
yeah,
he's such an experience, and full credit to him. He's been tremendous.
Vigili turning away from Bradbury.
Can't get
run, still Vigili, still going. Allowed him to run all the way, and he just can't get the shot on target. Cal Bradbury throws his arms up in the air. He was out on the left.
Yeah, he was free. Just on James Vigili, you actually don't mark him up tight because he'll just roll you and run. You give him about a metre space, half a metre space, so he can't feel you.
Yeah,
So
and you've got to slow him down.
That's right.
the thing. He loves to drive at defenders.
And just see Cale Bradbury out there. No one on him. No one in QE of him over on the left. Swancott.
And I will say, tongue-in-cheek here, we out at the FFA Cup when they were playing that day, I think it was against... who were they playing? Anyway, we talked about him that day and how great he's been going, and they end up losing by about 4.
It was against Edgeworth. And
Edgeworth, that's right.
he made some great saves in the first half, some really good saves, and then Edgeworth overran them in the second half. Famously now, CT was waxing lyrical about Joe Wheelhouse that afternoon.
And just on some of the goals past Swancott were brilliant. Sanders' goal.
Oh, they were quality.
Yeah.
Was that
Breen's goal.
Job said he was the most annoying teammate? Is that what you're referring to?
No. It was about how...
Oh, what a ball.
As here's Griffiths. We might come back to that as Matt Houle. And Virgili. Michael Sessions brings it wide for Ryan Griffiths. A couple of touches and he brings the ball down. He steps away from Luke Virgili.
Yeah, good challenge.
Kantorowski. Infield for Bradbury now. He's got Matt Houle making the run on the right. He decides to go back to Piddington instead.
This is what we haven't seen Magic do for a while, is push it, stroke it around the back line. They've been seemingly eager to get it out of there and play through the middle of the park. But I mean, while you've got some space and whilst they can draw Lambton closer to them to open some holes up, as we see Oxborough in the middle of the park vacant, there's nothing wrong with that.
Now Lambton, they're the best attacking side in the competition with 36 goals in their 15 matches played thus far. They've struggled really to create chances as Virgili keeps this one in. Why is that? Can you two boys put your finger on that?
Sorry, what was the question? What, today?
Yeah, why have Magic not been able to create why have Lambton not been able to create as many chances as they usually would?
Oh, well, there's probably a couple of reasons for that. One of them is that Magic's defence is very organised. You look at the experience and the quality they've got in their back line there, just across the 4 of them. We all know who they are. But the ability, for me, the work rate of Kantorowski and Shane Paul in front of them, they act as a 6 defensively very effectively, and I think that's very hard to break down. And let's not forget Oxborough in all of that as well. So I think that's one big reason that cancels and stops you creating as many chances as you'd like.
I'd have to agree with that. I'd say as Swancott comes to Clam, I'd probably say it's that midfield battle at the moment that is just allowing Magic to create a few more of the half chances than Lambton so far this afternoon.
Because Magic's playing like they've got 2 screeners, like you said, the 2 number 6s in Shane Paul and Kantorowski, with Oxborough just sitting in tight. So they've got a little diamond in the centre there, really compact, so you can't play through the centre. So for Lambton, they need to go on the outside.
Here's Griffiths. Now Ridge Marpu. Cal Bradbury goes up to Oxborough. Oxborough looks long for
Sessions.
Virgili. Sessions in no man's land. Virgili makes him pay. And Magic break through against the league leaders and score first. And the Magic faithful erupt.
We talk about Mitch Oxborough again. That ball just confused Sessions. I don't know what Sessions was doing there. He was sort of getting in 2 minds, wasn't he? But that ball, he knew straight away. He turned it. He was free, had spare time to hit it for Virgili, and he was away. Well,
he's hit it with some spin. That's what's got him. And you know what a wonderful finish that is. But the majority of the players ran to Oxborough because they know that he really made that one happen, and the finish was fantastic. Didn't see what sort of the boot that it came off, but Sessions got wrong-sided there, and Virgili, what a finish.
Well, have you heard the Magic fans roar like that this season? I don't think so. It's now a poor ball over the top.
For me, if I was playing against a team like Broadmeadow, I'd have someone quite tight on Mitch Oxborough. He can just play a ball anywhere. He can spray it. To me, he's getting a little bit of space at the moment. Lambton need to close him down nice and tight because he's the key.
Look, Kantorowski, as we look now, has got him on his right shoulder and he knows where he is. But the problem is, unless you get really close to him, you're not going to get there quick enough for him to do the damage he's going to do. So I think you're exactly right, Smudge. You've just got to lock him up a bit tighter than what they have been.
Exactly. And we've got the Lord Mayor of Newcastle to the box here again today. Mitchell Hughes from NBN News. Mitch, how are you, mate?
Good to see you join us.
I beg to differ on a comment you made about Brad Swancott always keeping fit. I'd say his stomach beguiles that's not probably the case.
Okay.
Here's Cal Bradbury. Back for Kantorowski. Now for Bradbury. Knoxborough dispossessed by Riley McNaughton.
Yeah, so if you're looking for a good dose of Mitch Hughes, we'll see him at 6:35 this afternoon.
Here's Verity. Back for Sessions now. Now Lambton. They just really struggled to create any opportunities in the opening 35 minutes, and you probably say Magic deserve their lead. They've had the better flow of the match. It's been very tight, but Magic probably just edging.
Just
Lambton
shading.
at the moment.
I think just shading, just slightly. There've been minimal chances as we spoke.
Fadjubic infield for Vigili. Sessions diving in and giving away the free kick.
Sometimes the worry with having three at the back, you probably need three pacey guys at the back, especially if you come up against attack with pace.
Well, we've got, on one side, we've got Verity, we've got Mapu on the other. When you're playing three at the back, you want your wider guys to be able to come inside and put some cover on. It does happen, but I'm not sure if it's anything formal that they've got in place.
Oxborough straight up and over the top, and Brad Swancott plucks that one out of the air. We've said Lambton, they've missed Joe Wheelhouse. And in big matches like this, sure be having a big impact on the match. They've got plenty of quality still out there on the park. McNaughton goes back to Odell. But it's just in the midfield at the moment where Magic have just got the ascendancy. Here's a ball over the top for Remington. Pinnington keeping pace. And deflects nicely for Nico Giant-Sopoulos, who has only conceded one goal in, this is now his third match against Lambton Jaffas. The first match he played against them was for Devonport last year, where he made some enormous saves late on to hold the Jaffas at bay. So the only goal he's conceded in two matches and 36 minutes of this one was the penalty from Joel Griffiths. So they struggle when they come up against Giant-Sopoulos for the Jaffas, as McNaughton tries to find Griffiths, but John Griffiths for Broadmeadow Magic is there to intercept. Here's McNaughton. Ben Hayes straight to Kantorowski. It breaks down for Lambton again. You sense James Vigili is going to cause Michael Sessions some problems all afternoon. And here's another ball over the top, looking to
He's a bit narrow.
Vigili between the lines.
James Vigili is a bit narrow there. If he can play a little bit wider, there's going to be so much space for him, and it's going to be a big headache for Sessions all day. But looking at scores around the ground, they've got Lake Macquarie up 2-0 against Adamstown Rosebuds. Sparray and Sam Walker with the goals. And Reen Ferguson scored the goal for Charlestown, who lead Olympic 1-0.
Any scores out of Edgeworth yet? What a goal, Reen Ferguson. That's what Charlestown have posted on their Twitter, so maybe that one's up there for goal of the week as well. As McNaughton, well, he spotted someone in the crowd down below us, and he's picked them out there. That's gone about 10 rows back, I think. It's be a throw for Magic. They're just not themselves this afternoon, Lambton. The intriguing aspect of that Jets Youth Edgeworth match is Laurie McKinnon and Labano Haliti taking charge for the second match of their tenure. Isn't that interesting? The CEO of the Jets coaching the youth side. How interesting.
Yeah, as an understatement, that's interesting.
Sessions. Goes wide for McNaughton. He's down the line for Mapu, but Luke Vigili has kept him quiet all match. Here's Mapu again.
And that's good double teaming from Magic. Kantorowski and Luke Vigili. I know Mapu's got some pace. He's good in one-on-one situations.
Here's Sessions. Now for Remington, who just jumps out of a tight spot. Shane Paul was closing in on him.
Look at Magic, a lot of numbers back.
Zadkovic yelling out about the back post, and it's almost come back to hurt them there. You can hear Zadkovic just yelling out to Luke Virgili to say head two at the back post. Probably lucky that Ryan Griffiths didn't get on the end of that. Ridge Marpu also there. Just over 6 minutes to go before the break. James Virgili with his 8th goal of the season. He started slowly, but he's been good the last few weeks as James Virgili. His 10th goal in all competitions this year. 2 in the FFA Cup as Kancharovski.
Oh, well played.
There is Remington sliding away from a couple and
he's done well.
getting through. What a run this is from Remington. He tries to spin on a dime. He may have hurt his ankle here.
What a great run by Remington, but John Griffiths, well covered defence.
Yeah, absolutely. He just, that spin that he put on the air at the end, I'm not sure if that had come off. Gee, spectacular.
Well, he opened them up, didn't he? Here he is again. He's got Griffiths. He sends, well, it could be either of them, and they're offside.
Gee, I didn't see that. I wouldn't mind having another look.
Well, we've got a nice angle here.
I'll tell you what, I thought Ryan Griff was onside.
5 minutes before half time.
He was holding. Sorry, Bart.
Is that a crucial moment in the match? I have to go back. Just scroll back on your stream, and here we go.
Oh, get back. It was actually before
we can't go back any further.
So yeah, you might have to check that one out for yourselves. But certainly from our angle here, it didn't look like he was offside.
I thought Joel might have been a fraction offside this side. However, Ryan looked onside for me.
Yeah, he did. Anyway,
Odell goes wide for Verity.
Doesn't matter now.
Verity gets around Shane Paul as Lambton just gaining a little bit of ascendancy. Matt Houle. This is a crucial 5 minutes, or 4 minutes now for Magic before the break. They can't afford to concede after being the better side for most of the half. Here's Fajkovic. Well, maybe they could make it 2, but Swancott.
He was quick, wasn't he, Swancott? Off his line.
So wake to the danger. Kancharovski back to Sessions. Here's Ben Hay and Remington. So James Pascoe will have a bit to think about, to ponder at half-time. Ryan Griffiths. Kancharovski now for Verity. It's inside a couple, Nathan Verity, and can't get past Shane Paul. Spent some time in the Mariners Academy, did Verity. Here's Cale Bradbury. Steps away from a couple. Now to Fajkovic, who is holding off Michael Sessions. Breaks down for Lambton. That pass fired across to Remington, who did well to control on the chest.
Game's opened up a little bit, hasn't it, CT, in the last few minutes?
Sure has, and the fact of that was Griffiths was calling for it from...
Well, Ryan Griffiths has got Remington out on the left, runs away from him, and plays it straight to Luke Virgili. Should have he gone to the left there with Remington. I'm not sure if he saw him, and he was blindsided as free kick will go Lambton's way.
I was just going to say that ball was with Verity, I think it was, and Griffiths up on the high right was calling for it. That's how open it was.
Ryan Griffiths tries to nod it on to Joel. Magic just to get their foot on the ball. Griffiths, maybe not. McNaughton, now to Marpu. Can they build something from the back here, Lambton?
This is the first time in the game I've actually seen it's taken this long, 43 minutes before we'd see teams starting to push the ball around.
Piddington coming into the back of Joel Griffiths. Sends it wide for Mapu. Into the back of John Griffiths.
Oh.
And now Mitch Oxborough with a high boot, which I don't think collected Joel Griffiths, who's fortunate it didn't. And now the ball wide from Kantorowski. Read well by Matt Hoole. Brother Andrew scored a hat-trick for the Mariners on debut during the week.
Who did they play, Bart?
I think it was a Central Coast Academy of Sports side. From memory. Mitch Oxborough back to Piddington. Now Shane Paul. To Virgili and Oxborough.
Just around the grounds. Edgeworth leading the Jets 2-1 at Edgeworth.
So an important result there based on what's happening here for Edgeworth. A win there and a loss here for Lambton will mean that Edgeworth will leapfrog the Jaffas into first place, and they'll still have a game in hand on Lambton, so a chance for them to go 4 points clear at the top of the ladder. And it's these games at this time of the season where they've got so much going on that the Eagles just seem to win. Well, let's not speak too soon. Last year against the Jets youth in the match at Jack McLaughlin Oval, about this time of the season, they were down 2-1 with 10 minutes to go, and Aidan Gardner struck, levelled it up, and they scored another two late to win the match. Edgeworth 4-2. Piddington to Hoole. So we're into stoppage time now. And Hoole chips over the top for Virgili. It's a little too heavy and is. You sense there won't be too many minutes of stoppage time in the first half. Swancott goes downfield. Piddington again, strong in the air. Kantorowski, maybe a last chance for Lambton. Joel Griffiths can keep his feet there, and Oxborough releases Bradbury. Riley McNaughton with a sliding challenge, and that will do us for the opening 45 minutes. The Magic fans are very happy with that opening half. James Virgili with the goal, and they will head to the sheds with a 1-0 advantage as they look to make it 7 wins in a row here against the Lambton Jaffas. Boys, your thoughts on the first half?
I think obviously Ruben would be happy with the two coaches, but Pascoe wouldn't be. They're not far away, Lambton. For me, I think Magic's defensively has been rock solid today. Lambton's only created a few half sniff chances, haven't they, CT? Where Magic, they just seem a bit more threatening going forward. So for me, Magic don't really need to change anything at half time. Just probably need to be a little bit tighter in the centre of the park. For Lambton, I think they just need to play ball a bit quicker forward, I think, and a bit wider.
It's been a game where it's been nullified by a whole lot of close marking, a lot of turnover because of tackling. Has been very, very in close proximity. But all in all, it's fair to say Magic are in front, and I think that we'll see the game open up in the second half with teams getting their foot on the ball and stroking it around some more and actually keeping some longer possession. And
just before we go to the break, I'd like to thank our partners at Sports Click. Great apparel that they've given us. So awesome to have Sports Click on board this season.
We're dressed in our gear today, looking even smudged looks half all right, but
that's a surprise. That is a surprise. All right, halftime here at Magic Park. Broadmeadow Magic leading Lambton by a goal to nil. We'll be back in 10 minutes. Dodges and weaves his way down the right edge. And then wins a free kick. So it started well. The second half for Broadmeadow Magic. No changes. By the looks of it, definitely no changes from James Pascoe or Ruben Zadkovic at the break. Content with the 11 that they've both got out there. Oxborough on the left boot, curling it in. Piddington was trying to get in there. Fajkovic towards the back post for Oxborough. Returns, calls it back. Piddington, well, I cannot believe how he hasn't got his boot through that. He just got right under it and in the end has chipped it over the bar.
Yeah, it looked a little bit behind him, but I thought the ball was cut back a little bit behind him. Just tried to reach for it a bit, so might have taken his eyes slightly off the ball as he went through it.
Having said that, he'd love it again, wouldn't he? Because it was a good opportunity to score.
I think the key for Lambton, they need to start well here, because if Magic get a goal, I reckon they could get a few more.
Well, I did say real early in the game, whoever scored the first goal, it would give them a lot of confidence. They've come into this match with some good form, really good form, in fact. And Lambton at the top of the table, they certainly know they've got a big game on their hands, which they've found out to be reality.
It's Joel Griffiths. Now his brother Ryan goes wide for Verity. And here's Mapu. He decides not to head it back into the mix. Goes to Ryan Griffiths. It was Joel who scored the goal back in round 6. It was 10 minutes into the second half. That was to put Lambton ahead 1-0. They went into the break 0 all that evening on Good Fridays. Remington, he shinned that one over the bar.
Yeah, I think the key for Lambton in the second half, the first half they're sort of playing through the centre too much, and it's so congested in there, with Magic 3 in there, plus the 2 for Lambton. So I think they need to go round Magic, use the width, use their 4 across the middle of the park. I get Ridge Mapu high and wide, and also Verity nice high and wide. That could create a few problems for Broadmeadow, trying to isolate their fullback.
All wide for Vigili.
Absolutely, and I'd like to see Lambton actually get more hold of possession. Just keep the ball more often and start pushing it around and creating some holes. At the moment, the turnover's a bit too high.
Nathan Verity with the throw. Lambton haven't won here at Magic Park since 2015. They're under pressure to do so again here, down by a goal to 0. And Ryan Griffiths as well to keep alive his perfect goal scoring record this season. 4 goals in his 4 matches, a goal in each. Hull to Vigili. Hull gets cleaned up by Nathan Verity, who goes into the book. Right in front of the Magic faithful, who let him know about it as well. And Mitch Oxborough will try and curl this one in.
Yeah, he delivers a great ball, Mitch Oxborough. Every time we do a foul around this vicinity of the ground, it's dangerous. It's a dangerous area.
Here he is, that height, curls around. Piddington turns and just again pushes that one over the bar.
Think about the strike that he's got there with his left foot. It's going to have from left to right swing on it, so it just makes it a lot easier if you can just get a header or something on it. It's already goalwood bound in its natural movement. Very, very dangerous, so his set pieces.
Shane Paul now to Alex Kantorowski, who's had a tough time of it this season. Again, another injury. He had that ACL injury a couple of years ago in 2015. He didn't play any games in 2016.
But you mentioned in the first half, you asked CT and myself, why is Lambton having limited opportunities? Another key component is the combination.
Luke Vigili. Here's Oxborough, a chance to make it 2-0. And Brad Swancott.
Great save.
With his knee, I'm pretty sure, keeps them at bay.
Great save.
Is that a moment you just put an asterisk next to? and wonder how much of an impact that could have at the back end of the match. 2-0 after 50 minutes. Would be tough to come back from that position for Lambton.
Yeah, for sure. But I think the combination with Pennington and John Griffith in the central defence for Magic has been superb for me. They have been rock solid, and they're the two who are limiting, with the combination of the whole defensive unit, but especially them two. They've been brilliant today.
Here's Marpu. Looks for Griffiths, and those two experienced at the back. So Scott Robertson, who normally plays alongside Josh Pennington, he's out this week after receiving a red card or 2 yellows last weekend. He was sent off against Charlestown. Now he will be available next weekend. Based on this performance, would you bring him back in at the back, Smudge?
You need to look at a combination of things. You need to look at see who you're playing. Who did Magic play next week? I think the Jets youth, actually. For me, if Magic do get a result, and they've all been playing very well, it's hard to change a winning side. Because that means Kanarowski or one of the midfielders will have to come out because Johnny Griff will move back in the centre, which he's been very good at as well.
Here's Fadjovic, Vigili. Down to the byline. Vigili darts away. Fadjovic on the turn. Wide for Oxborough. It opens up for Mitch Oxborough. And Brad Swancott again pushes it away from goal. Vigili takes on Remington. That will be a corner kick.
I know it's early in the game. For me, Lambton just looked a little bit tired.
Oh, I don't know. That's a big call. I think they're under an immense amount of pressure, is what I think. I'm not sure if they look tired, Smudge. I haven't really sort of taken that one into consideration, but they...
There's a few hands on hips I've noticed, especially towards the latter part of the first half.
Well, next weekend, Smudge, Broadmeadow, they face Adamstown, and Lambton play Charlestown, who lead 1-0 against Hamilton. Curled in. Look at the whip on the ball. Fadjovic should get it over the line. Doesn't. And Lambton scramble it away. Well, this has become a near thing on a couple of occasions for Lambton at the opening part, in the opening minutes of this second half. Vigili calls it away. Magic are humming along at the moment.
Yeah, they've had some chances now, Magic.
Somehow that stayed out. I just don't know. You totally expected that to go into the net. Scrambling Bart was the word you used, and scramble it was.
Verity too strong for Oxborough, and Piddington illegally onto Verity, and Oxborough in a little bit of trouble here.
Just going back to the John Griff and Josh Pennington as the central pairing. Matty Hurl and Luke Vigili, either side, have been brilliant as well. They've really held their position really well.
A good move from Ruben Sadkovic to bring Matt Hoole into right back, would you say?
I think it's more balanced. But you got Lawrence Fodoff coming back from injury now, so he played 20s today, so he's going to have some options there. But for me, Matt Hoole, I think it just balances the side quite well at the moment.
Yeah, I do too as well. I think that it's great when you've got that luxury to have that sort of quality on your bench.
Verity to Remington. They've wasted some chances, Magic. Can Remington make them pay? He can't, because Griffiths is there with his back in front of the ball and blocks it clear. Oxborough almost finds the pass for Bradbury.
The beauty about Oxborough, when he does knock that forward pass, it's with pace and it's quick. He doesn't muck around, and therefore you get the opposition on the back foot quite quickly.
Joel Griffiths for Marpu, who then chips it for Griffiths, but John Griffiths gets in front of Joel Griffiths, and then in the end has won himself and his side a foul.
Just like to thank the Lord Mayor from Newcastle for coming today. Thank you. We'll see you at 6:35, Mitchell Hughes. Yeah,
Boys,
sorry. Just going back on Lambton, I don't know if the word tired is the right word for that. Come to think of, I don't know, look a bit flat.
Yeah, and that might be a better way. But sometimes you'll be forced to play flat if you're playing against an opposition that when you're scrambling all of the time and you kind of...
he's through.
Here's Griffiths, and he's offside again. His hands go to his head, Ryan Griffiths. It's just the momentum, isn't it? You know, you look at Lambton, They seem flat at the moment, but if they score a goal, all of a sudden that changes.
That's exactly right, Bart. It absolutely would change.
And especially Magic just having a few pretty good chances just earlier on, could have taken the lead even further. And Ryan Griff just slightly offside. Good run. He made his run nice and early.
Fadkovic tries to nod it wide for Bradbury. Goes down to the corner. And they'll take the corner kick. This is probably the best Broadmeadow performance that I've seen thus far this season.
I thought they were very good in the first round against Lambton, but also against Valentine a few weeks ago. I thought they were in total control in that game. That was Oxborough's first game. And today, to me, they look a little bit comfortable as well. Like Lambton haven't threatened them too much.
Ever since that round 12 match against Edgeworth, where they were just played off the park, Magic have come back a different side. As Hoole curls it in. Verity heads away, and Remington should win the foul here and does. Brad Swancott. He's going to look long. He is. Looks for the tall timber of Ryan Griffiths. And now Kantorowski in front of Oxborough. And Verity looks centrally. Well, based on form at the moment, you would probably see it very, very... It'd be difficult to see Broadmeadow not making the finals from this point onwards. And that match up against Hamilton Olympic in the final round, I think the whole season you felt it was going to be a huge clash. Maybe even more so now. Here's Vigili over the top. Cuts it into the middle, and Sessions diving in low and able to deflect it over for a corner kick.
You know, and depending on the result with Hamilton today, if Hamilton don't get the 3 points against Charlestown, which at the moment they're down 1-0, for me, Broadmeadow's in the box seat.
You've been kicking them home all year, Smudge, and so it must be a fine, fuzzy feeling on the inside.
Oh, you two boys were writing them off 6 weeks ago. I said, don't discount them.
We weren't writing them off. You were just riding them home. There's a difference.
Here is Oxborough from the left corner on this preferred side. Liam Odell nods it clear. Well, that's the thing. Magic have played one more match than Hamilton. So that's about the gap. It's about Oxborough here to Vigili across the face. It's a 1 point gap at the moment, but effectively you could put an asterisk and say it could be a 4 point gap based on the result. So if Hamilton lose this afternoon, all of a sudden...
And they play each other last round, so therefore Magic are in striking distance.
All of a sudden it becomes a 1 point gap.
Well, then it's in Magic's hands. They win all their games, they're through. Because one game is against Olympic, so...
Exactly.
So that's why the key, it's Olympic today. Oh, good pressure.
That was a bone rattler.
Now Bradbury, you probably felt that one through your screens, as just clips Vigili on the back and his heel. So Charlestown leading 1-0 at Hamilton still, as Luke Remington.
Tell you what, Sessions ball, if that went into Remington, they were 3-on-3 at the back there. That would have been very interesting. Sessions ball just a bit too far. And Vigili's great run behind.
Here's Vigili. So good news for us. Vigili gets away from Verity with ease. Squares it up. Bradbury, no mistake. 2-0 Magic. They are on fire this afternoon, Broadmeadow Magic. It's too easy. And they lead with half an hour to go by 2-0.
Great ball into Vigili there, and the nutmeg set it all up. Crowd love that bit, and what a great ball into the centre of into the box for a terrific finish.
What a great finish by Bradbury, because that ball was going like a bullet by Vigili. And the way Vigili got past, I think it was Verity or Sessions, I can't remember who he nutmegged. I think it was Verity. Just sized him up, got past him. He's been very dangerous today, James Vigili. Scored one, set one up.
Well, the important thing that Bradbury did there was he get some leather on it and just guide it. He didn't have to put anything on it. Already had the pace, and he did everything right.
Score update to the other grounds. Hamilton still down 1-0 against Charlestown. Edgeworth, well, now they're up the top of the ladder on the live table. They are firing. They are up 3-1 against the Jets Youth. Lake Macquarie are putting the sword to Adamstown. 3-0 over at Macquarie Field as Rouge Mapu gets cut down by the goal scorer, Cale Bradbury. Wasn't there a roar here at Magic Park when he put that in?
I'll tell you what, this round is such a pivotal round for the competition because if Lambton lose, Edgy win, Edgy's in the box seat to take the premiership in the next few weeks. And they've got a pretty good run home, Edgeworth.
Now, I said this 2 weeks ago when Maitland were leading Hamilton 2-0. I said, I cannot see Hamilton getting back in this game based on what has happened. The same I will say here. I cannot see Lambton scoring 2 goals based on what has happened in the first hour.
You know what? I sat at Adamstown Park last week and saw a dominant
You probably thought the same thing,
there was
CT.
no way that Adamstown were coming back into that match, and 4-2. Look, there's a long way to go in this match. We've got 30 minutes, probably a fraction over an injury time. Oxborough is heading off the park. Boys, I'll just take the opportunity to let you know I used to work at a calendar factory, but I got the sack because I took a few days off. Jack likes it. Thanks, Jack.
Here's McNaughton curling in. Griffiths! Giant Sopler soars and saves the day for Magic. And somehow it's going to be a goal kick. Here we go. Had it already...
Dude, hit the post.
Hit the post, so he didn't get a touch to it. It was one of those optical illusions. Here we go. Oh, I thought it does look like he gets a touch, doesn't it, on replay?
That was a good opportunity for Lambton.
Good refereeing if that is the case. To be able to spot that. Eagle eyes from Stephen Laurie, the referee, this afternoon. But that's how quickly Lambton can get themselves back into it. If they get one, just the momentum. Oxborough gets knocked to ground, but there wasn't much in it, according to Laurie, and it will be a throw for Lambton.
So, boys, about to start thinking. I know it's early in the second half. The Sports Click Man of the Match, and also the Harry Snitty's Play of the Day.
You know, I was thinking about exactly the same thing. 30 minutes out. So, and look, we've got some contenders. You'd have to immediately think across the team in red at the moment. They're the ones doing the damage so far. Smudge, you've mentioned the back line. Griffiths, Piddington.
Yeah, them two will be rock solid for me. I think Luke Virgili and Matt Hill's done well as well. There's still half an hour to go, so a lot can happen. Oxborough's been very effective again.
Here's a chance maybe for Lambton. Marpu appeals for handball. Ben Hay. It's an important moment for Ben Hay to win the ball there. Curling it in. Remington. And it will just sit there nicely for Giant Soplis after it went through the mixer there, straight through Piddington and Griffiths.
Look, I also think James Virgili's been very good.
Very busy, very busy.
And Bradbury's been great.
Yep.
Well, there hasn't been a poor player in red this afternoon.
No, they've been very good. They're still working hard in defence here.
Michael Sessions.
Great ball.
Thumps one towards Ridge Marpu, who takes on Griffiths and had him beaten and
Luke Virgili
got a bump to ground. I should say Virgili, yep. And it will be a free kick to the Jaffas over on the far side of the ground. Here it is. He just got around Virgili there and he gave him a nudge. Here's Griffiths curling it in. Just it down for Marpu. Now for Ben Hay, who couldn't control. Riley McNaughton curls one in towards Sessions. Odell, here's problems for Lambton now.
They're away here.
They're in all sorts. Vajkovic keeps his footing. He's got Oxborough in the middle. Take your pick. Nathan Verity saves the day for Lambton. They score there. It's all over. But Nathan Verity, Johnny on the spot. And Mitch Oxborough is just having a chat here to Laurie. Dino Vajkovic did get a little clip here from Riley McNaughton, who they're saying, well, is that a professional foul? Is that a red card? Because he was away, Vajkovic. He was probably lucky he only got a little piece of him. Anything more, and it may have been...
Yeah, I wouldn't have gave a red card. It was way on the halfway line. He still had a long way to go. He had covering in defence.
Sure did. It was 2v1 there as well. They were very, very open. In fact, they were beyond the last line. When I say
Liam Odell and Michael Sessions 2 men out of the 3-man back line were up well inside Magic's half. So
if I was Dino Fadge, if I had my time again, I probably would have played that nearly first time across the Vigili and Oxborough, because then they're straight on goal in the centre, one-on-one with the goalkeeper.
But Nathan Verity, what about the desire from him as
it was a great challenge. Yeah, great clearance.
It's one of those difficult ones, to be fair to Fadge, because he's got to make a choice. He's got to play it first time, or he sees open goals, he's going to run, and that's what he did.
Well, this is going to be over. This match is going to open right up. Ben Hay does his best impression of a rugby league tackle, drags down James Vigili.
And that was James Vigili in cover defence. That's superb by James Vigili, getting back in cover defence for Ben Hay.
Did you see that corner? Magic only had 2 men in the box. Just shows you that they're looking to grind out the result here, I feel.
Yeah, for Magic, it's all about the 3 points. James Vigili, that's nearly worthy of a man of the match performance or player of the day. That was superb.
McNaughton.
He's at one end scoring and setting goals up, at the other end saving a goal.
Well, this is going to be entertaining the last 23 and a bit minutes. Lambton are pushing forward. It's really what they've got to do now. Verity. He goes for Ryan Griffiths. Steps infield. Kantarowski. Ben Hay.
Great ball.
Reefs it wide. Ridge Marpu can't control.
For me, we're talking about the Sports Click man of the match. I think James Vigili played just then. That puts him in front slightly, because he set one up, score one, but he recognised Ben Hay making the forward run beyond the back four, and he's chased from midfield to win the ball or get in front of him.
Well,
potentially saved a goal.
It could also be a Harry Schnitty's player of the day, because he's been playing high and wide on the right, and where he's made that tackle is on the corner of the penalty box on the left-hand bottom end of the field. So he's covered some to put that in, to put that cover in place. So, by the way, great play.
Yeah, boys, just interesting stuff. Ridge Marpu, yet to score this season in the NPL. He scored 4 last season for Valentine. Surprising for a side like Lambton, who have actually had the most individual goal scorers in the competition, with 13 different goal scorers.
Well, you do as a coach. You love a good bunch of people scoring goals, because it just means they're not coming from 1 or 2 all season. It just means you're creating lots of good opportunities regularly.
Vigili into Odell.
Could say at this point here, it doesn't seem like Lambton are getting many opportunities at this point. So, the time is starting to tick away. We're approaching the 70-minute mark now. Again, plenty of time. However, it doesn't have that feel like they're going to penetrate the back third.
Ben Hay. Ryan Griffiths just has a total air swing. Just over 21 minutes to go here. Cale Bradbury and James Vigili, so dominant last year. The goal scorers this afternoon for Magic as they return to form of late. Kantarowski. And on the live ladder with Charlestown leading Hamilton 1-0, they are in the 4. And it may just be about to get better for Broadmeadow. Ben Hay. Wide for Verity. Scored a couple of goals this season, Nathan Verity. That's a neat back heel from Hay and Remington.
Yeah, I think James Vigili there, he should have went to Dino Fadge or Bradbury. They were free. That makes it 3.
Thing about Vigili at the moment, he's just creating problems. Where he did end up and didn't end up, you just got the feeling he's going to be on the ball again in a minute and doing something similar.
Vigili just looks long. Bounce straight to Brad Swancott.
Look how Magic have condensed the park. Vajovic has dropped back just outside this centre circle. Pennington and John Griff are just about 5 yards beyond the centre circle. What's that? A 20-metre gap. Look how compact it is. That's why it's very hard for Lambton to break through.
Well, Pennington in the first half, we heard him calling consistently his back four to get up, and he wanted to squeeze them into the park when Lambton's got the ball, because it's more difficult to play because they've got less space. So it's a good point, Smudge. That's why Lambton really haven't been able to get on the ball as much as they would like, and when they do, they're under pressure as they are at the moment.
Well, no changes from the other scores around the grounds as Bradbury gets ridden to ground by McNaughton, and this time he goes into the book. So 3-0, Lake Macquarie leading Adamstown, Charlestown leading Hamilton 1-0. That would be a shock for Hamilton, twice this season beaten by Charlestown if they are beaten this afternoon, and Edgeworth leading 3-1 against the Newcastle Jets youth side. Scott McCarter just letting Riley McNaughton know that his afternoon is done and dusted, the Jaffas assistant coach, and McNaughton will leave the park.
So who have Lambton got next week, Bart?
They have got Charlestown. So Jared Baker was at the Jaffas at the start of the season, then went to the Jets youth. Now he's back at the Jaffas. Scored a wonderful goal for the Jets youth in round 1 against Adamstown. Here's Sessions.
Every delivery of Oxborough has been lethal, hasn't it? Except for one where he sort of hit the ground, but it's just he just puts it in. He just puts it in such a dangerous area.
Yeah, he does, and he uses
dips
spin to his advantage. Yeah, exactly right with the spin.
So they have pushed a few more into the box here, Broadmeadow. Josh Piddington in there as well. John Griffiths as well from the back. Michael Sessions is there. Knock one up the line, and will be a goal kick for Lambton.
He's been good, Piddington, hasn't he?
Sure has. Well, he's
Sports Click man of the match. What are your thoughts on this afternoon?
Well, I think Smudge and I are in agreement that James Virgili's sort of at the top of that tree at the moment. But
the whole team's been good, haven't they?
There
hasn't been a bad player on the park, especially for Broadmeadow. But James Virgili scoring a goal, setting one up, and that vital tackle right at the end.
Yeah, and he's been threatening all day. I've really liked his. He just seems to have come to life, and the balls that he's been receiving from his midfield have been good quality also.
Remington was from behind, was Bradbury, snuck up on him. Joel Griffiths been kept very much under wraps this afternoon. Kantorowski wide, he goes for Mapu.
Yeah, I think Lambton need to play with a bit more width because Magic are condensing the space in the middle of the park.
Here it is, a chance for Jared Baker. Steps away from Hoole, but he's pushed wide. It will be a corner kick.
A few people cramping up. Alex Kantorowski cramping up. It's good to see Alex Kantorowski back on the park because they thought he'd done his ACL at training. Scans showed that it looked like his new ACL had torn off the bone, but when they did tests on it, it was actually rock solid. So,
Joel Griffiths calling it in, and Josh Piddington rises high. Baker goes back for Ridge Mapu.
See, that's
up and over the top.
That's better for Lambton.
Odell back for Remington. It's probably their best passage of play this afternoon, Lambton. But
yeah, they got a high and wide, nice and quick. That's
Oxborough.
Look at that.
Over the top for Fajkovic. Charges onto it. Dino Fajkovic. And now Bradbury. He darts away. Well, Cale Bradbury's allowed to run around and score his second of the afternoon. And Brad Swancott.
The ball go out.
Has gone into the book for a yellow card. Confusion reigning here at Magic Park. Everyone seemed to stop.
Swancott stopped because he thought the ball went out, and that's exactly what he's talking about right now. If we can get a replay, we'll have a look.
Here it is. All the Jaffas defence seemed to just stop and allow Bradbury here. There's Mapu with a hand in the air. Bradbury runs around and scores the easiest goal he's probably scored all season.
To me, it looked like it just crossed the line.
He's going to turn his back on us here, Bradbury, and that's where, right there, Swancott's saying the ball's out.
Even there. It looks.
And there.
Yeah, it looks like the ball's over the line just.
And Brad
which
Swancott
is out.
He's just stopped. The ball's gone out.
Kantorowski, well, that's a hammer blow now for Lambton. Jared Baker curling it in, and Pat Brown is now out there for the Jaffas.
Just on Ridgemapu's defensive positioning then, it wasn't flash. He sort of got the wrong side of Bradbury, and Bradbury just turned him so easily. Even though the ball went out, you still need to defend until the referee blows the whistle.
Oh, absolutely you do. And you taught that as a child. You don't stop until you hear the whistle, and I guess that's what the whole defensive line did. They all stopped. They all believed it was out, but they all stopped.
Fadjevic up and over the top. It was really quite incredible what happened. Everyone just seemed to stop apart from Cale Bradbury, who fired at home. Griffiths, his brother Joel now off the park with Pat Brown coming on. It's been a disappointing last 11 weeks for Pat Brown, who started the season so strongly. And he scored 6 goals in his first 5 matches and hasn't scored since round 5 against Lakes.
Oh, great turn by Bradbury. He's really come into his own this second half.
Sessions now to Baker. Now, Pat Brown was injured in the match against Broadmeadow Magic in round 6. He was injured again against Edgeworth a few weeks ago, but he's back. Another goal kick for Brad Swancott.
Just quickly, boys, we've mentioned the Arnett's program, Children with Disabilities, out at Edgeworth that they put on out there, and what a terrific initiative that is. I've mentioned before, my son Charlie plays in that. And they have a lot of fun, the kids and the parents all involved. But I want to make the point too, it's not the only place in Newcastle that has disability programs for children playing football, and one of them's up at Maitland, and there's another one with Lake Macquarie, which I believe they've kind of got all different ways of doing things, and some of them play a bit of competition sport, etc. But if anyone is interested in those areas, feel free to contact myself through via Facebook Messenger or any other channel for that matter, so we can put you in contact with either of them at Lake Macquarie, Maitland, or at Edgeworth. It's, either way we go, it's all great news for these kids.
Shane Paul looks for Cale Bradbury. Yeah, great initiative from all those areas. CT, I've got a score update. A very important goal for Hamilton Olympic. It's 1-1.
1-1.
At Charlestown. 3-0 Lake Macquarie lead Adamstown. And 3-1 Edgeworth still lead the Jets Youth. So they go to the top of the ladder at the moment.
How long to go in the Hamilton game? Did they start a little bit late, did they? Nice yawn there, Bart. It's game boring you, is it, mate?
Look, he's holding the mic away from his mouth. I'm not sure if they did start late, but may know differently when he composes himself. Just having a moment. I think he's back.
15 minutes left to go there. Peter Haynes comes on, as does Charlie Cox for Alex Kantorowski and James Vigili.
Just on those two, they've had tremendous games. Alex Kantorowski, first game back in quite a few weeks since a knee injury. He had about 20 minutes off the bench last week. He was superb in the centre of the park. And James Vigili, he's pushing for our man of the match. He was superb. Scored a goal, set one up, and done a brilliant tackle, which probably saved a good opportunity for Lambton.
Here's Fadjevic now. Verity slides in. Expertly again from Nathan Verity, who's been a bright spot for the Jaffas this afternoon. Sessions clears it up, looking for Pat Brown. And now Ryan Griffiths.
Smart play by Ryan Griffiths.
Is there some late hope for Lambton? Kantorowski, and it's straight into Fadjevic, and now Haynes threads it through for Cale Bradbury, but Ridgemapu in front of him. They've had a good day at Broadmeadow. Lambton have not scored here in any of the 3 grades. 1-0 in the 18s, 6-0 in the 20s to Magic, 3-0 here. It's been all Broadmeadow. And I hope, Smudge, you've got enough money to pay for your data this month, because live streaming the Hamilton-Charlestown game as you are right now on your phone, it's going to chew up quite a bit, I think.
Mate, I just got a new iPhone yesterday, iPhone 7, updated my data because of Bar TV. I was getting smashed by Bar TV on my phone, so, as in with the data. But, yes, I'm all good to go, mate. And my plan starts again tomorrow, so I'm going to chew it all up tonight.
Your data we're talking about.
Yeah, data, of course.
So the throw for Magic. Just send your complaints into the Bar TV office if anything offends you. It's look eventually.
They might be busy tonight.
Here's Bradbury now for Oxborough. You find Peter Haynes. Not at this moment. Oxborough gets up and he gave Stephen Laurie he had a little chat to him.
John Griff again, his positional play has been superb. I really like him in this back line. He does well in the centre of the park as well.
Oxborough now sends Bradbury down into the corner. His opposite number Sessions across there. Just 9 minutes left here for Broadmeadow Magic. Smudge, have you got that Charlestown-Hamilton game up?
I just closed it because I didn't want to use up all my data. But it's 1-1 still with about 10 to go.
It's a game worth keeping an eye on.
We got any updates?
Peter Haynes
Lambton
goes to ground. Now, just on
Adamstown and Lambton Quarry.
I thought he was about to say Lambton Magic, mate. I thought.
Lake's 3-0 up against Adamstown. Big result there for Lake Macquarie. They struggled to find goals. Well, struggled to find goals before that win against Charlestown during the week. But since then, Anthony Richards has got the Roosters crowing.
Yeah, unfortunately for Richard, they're just a little bit back trying to push for that top 4 spot, especially with Magic winning today.
Yeah, they'll go up to 22 points with the win there as Oxborough curls it in. Haynes is there. Here's Charlie Cox and Brad Swancott. Well, there was another moment for Lambton. They wouldn't want to let this get any worse. As Edgeworth with that 3-1 lead against the Jets youth now go above them on the ladder, and with a game in hand, that could potentially be a 4-point gap.
And I think
it's just incredible. They're like a machine at the moment. As Pat Brown, well, he may have collected John Griffiths here, who's holding a right leg. This would be awful news for Magic if he is unable to continue. It would be a huge blow for Broadmeadow as Vigili dives in.
Oh, what's Vigili doing? When you want the ball out rather than keep it in? The ball went out anyway, so you're going to need your play down.
Yeah, they've only made the 2 changes, so he will be able to be brought off John Griffiths for a change. They won't have to play with 10 men Broadmeadow. See who Ruben Zadkovich is. He's got Scott Pettit there, standing up, looking as though he may come onto the park. But that would be a strange one. Scott Pettit coming on for John Griffiths. You would think Lawrence Fotef would be the likely change.
Reece Cooper.
Oh, you wouldn't believe it. You wouldn't believe it. They do it every week.
3 weeks in a row. Unbelievable.
Hamilton Olympic keep Magic at bay again. Reece Cooper with a goal at Lyle Carr Oval, and Hamilton lead 2-1. They are just incredible in the last 15 minutes.
And Goodchild got the equaliser with a pen.
I'll tell you what, Michael Balch may not have been that excited through the midweek show with the impersonation, but I'll tell you what, that was from Nick Webb, Nick Webb, but if you haven't seen that one, watch that on the weekly show, but he'll be very excited now with that scoreline.
Here's Verity trying to launch one. Just goes wide. Yeah, Balchi would have been jumping around, I'm sure.
We might do some clarification here with Michael Balch, because when I looked at it, it looked like he'd had a few clubs, according to the little skit from Smudge. But when you have a look at his previous clubs, he's had 6 years at Valentine, and then he's gone and had 8 years at Hamilton Olympic. Now that's by anyone stretch, that's a very, very strong, dedicated coaching position.
Oh, I totally agree. Great turn.
Here's Pat Brown on the turn, and Luke Vigili comes at him. Brown into a bit of a muddle, but Ben Hay scrambles at home. Is there some late hope for Lambton?
So talking to Bradley Swancott, the Lambton goalkeeper, great finish by Ben Hay. Just prior to the game, I said, "What's the score going to be, mate?" He said 3-1.
You did. I actually heard you say
he
that.
said it'll be 3-1.
He didn't say.
He didn't say which way. He said it'll be 3-1.
Well, that's unlike him to acknowledge that he's going to let a goal in.
Yeah, obviously he's thinking 3-1 Lambton way, but,
of course, but it's just the fact that he's acknowledged that a goal's going to go in either way against him, unlike Swanee.
That's nearly our play of the day.
Well, that would have to be. If it does stay at 3-1, you'd have to give it play of the day, surely.
I'd say after that goal that went in that he thought was over the goal line, I don't know that we want to go anywhere near him in the next hour or two.
Here's Odell. Maybe it was all part of the plan, CT Sessions.
I doubt it,
Cheering
Bart.
it
I highly
forward.
doubt it.
So just on Harry Snitty, so they got one at Jesmond, one at Marketown, and one at the Junction, and
Smudge, your
Minor famous with sweet chili minus the cucumber.
Yeah.
Cucumber makes your hair go curly, so trying to stay away from that.
You just got to worry about keeping it, not getting it curly.
Here's Verity.
And our Sports Click man of the match as well. So obviously we've spoken about James Vigili.
Well, obviously CT Smudge puts dye in his hair, doesn't he?
Well, I think so.
No chance.
And if I do, it's grey. I don't think they sell it.
So here is Scott Pettis about to come onto the ground for Cale Bradbury.
He's had a good game again today, Carl. He's been a menace. Him, Vigili, and Fadjovic. That's Renamark up front, weren't they? They've got pace.
Yep.
They can just go past the player with ease, scoring a great goal as well. So
the race is well and truly on for the top four. Hay, back to Brown. And Matt Hoole with a strong challenge on him, with Hamilton Olympic now leading 2-1 against Charlestown. We'll grab those other scores close to full time as Piddington is fouled.
So boys, Sports Click man of the match, $50 voucher.
Yeah, I can't go past James Vigili. I think over the course of the game, look, the game, to be honest, for me right now has gone very, very flat. It's had that feeling it's been over for about 20 minutes. However, I think that he's just completely just been a menace for Lambton all day. And the fact that, you pick out a good point, Smudge, where he's putting on some cover defence down in the left fullback sort of role, just goes to show the dedication he's had, and he's been very effective and set up goals as well as just putting in a good all-round performance.
Well, here is Charlie Cox. Lovely ball. Scott Pettit off the bench.
He's a good player, Charlie Cox. I like him. Does everything nice and simple. Very busy.
Pettit calls it in. Odell heads it away. Well, you can say the 3 points are signed, sealed and delivered for Edgeworth this afternoon. They lead 4-1 now against the Jets youth.
You know what? They're going to be unstoppable for the premiership.
I just can't wait for that matchup against South Melbourne, live on Fox Sports on the 26th of July. Counting down the sleeps. It's like Christmas time.
So, boys, we've only got a few minutes to go. Our Harry Snitty play of the day.
Peter Haynes goes wide for Mitch Oxborough. Another game counting down towards his Magic up against Moreton Bay on the 2nd of August. And Mitch Oxborough is prone on the ground.
He fell quite awkwardly after the challenge.
A reminder, Tuesday night, I should say, not Wednesday night, State of Origin. Tuesday night, Western, they are hosting the Newcastle Jets youth up at Rockwell Automation Park. I'll be up there calling for Bar TV with Peter Haynes. Smudge, will you be joining us? Or
unsure. I might wait for the Olympic or the Magic game versus the Jets, because it's probably going to be about 2 degrees up Western on a Tuesday night.
Yeah, it might be a bit warm where I'm headed, Smudge, up north, so might be able to join you boys. Otherwise I would be there, Bart, as you know.
Yeah, we've got matches against Broadmeadow Magic and Hamilton Olympic in the weeks after the match against Western. It's Magic first up on the 19th, and then the 2nd of August is Olympic and the Jets youth the same night as that Magic Moreton Bay match.
So the Sports Click will go with James Vigili, and well deserved. There's been some outstanding players. What about our Harry Snitty player of the day?
See if there's any late nominations. We'd love to know about them, because at the moment nothing.
I'd have to go with Brad Swancott, surely, with the 3-1 prediction.
Yeah, I don't know how well he'll take it. been on the other end. I think if they won 3-1,
I'll leave it up to you guys.
We'll see how we go when we get down there.
yeah, or we could give it to because there's been some great performance for Magic today. There's probably not a real standout play of the day, but probably James Vigili cover challenge on Ben Hay.
This one curled in, and Giant Sopless knocks it away. Ben
Oh,
Hay
what a strike!
firing. That was like it came out of a cannon.
What a strike!
And
He got a great hit
Shane
rotation and got through the ball, and he absolutely got that out of the instep.
if he scores there, all of a sudden,
Yeah, it becomes a little bit tight for the final few minutes.
here's Griffiths. Calls it
Oh.
in. Sessions. Is it over the line? Somehow Giant Salsa, they're having a swing at him on the ground. Michael
Oh.
Sessions. And they've pushed him into Stephen Laurie now.
Well, this has
And there it
boiled
is.
over. This one now has gone over the edge. All players have gone in.
We'll see
and
if
that
we
was
can have a
solid
look at this on the
conviction.
replay. Someone's pushed Sessions into Stephen Laurie, who's almost been bowled over.
Yeah, I think it was
Well, the
more. I think it was a
Lambton skipper.
reaction from
Here it is. Well, that was
Oh.
it. Sessions was going to kick at it.
and Shane Paul gets up. I think didn't like it.
Here it is. Giant Salsa grabs it, and Sessions attempts
Kicks
to have
it, yeah.
another go at it. And here
Shano
it is.
gets up.
It's
Push.
a push.
Push. Oh, game of dominoes for a second.
And then just a little bit of grabbing and holding, and that was about it. So probably 90 seconds left of time left in stoppage time here at Magic Park. Here's Remington. Pulls the pass to Sessions. Chips it forward to Pat Brown. Magic clear it away as well. Magic fans wanting the whistle. Here is Liam Odell. Pilots one low, but Charlie Cox is there. Shane Paul. Wide for Matt Hoole. What a turnaround it's been for Broadmeadow Magic over the last couple of months. After a slow start to the season. Ruben Zadkovic has turned around the fortunes of his side. Sessions now slips over and will be out for a Magic throw. The last rights here at Magic Park. Sessions unable to control, and Haynes back for Oxborough, who tries his luck from way outside the 18-yard box. Can't put it on target. Mapu flicks it on for Luke Remington. Gilly holds him off. Cleared away by Lambton. Here is Kantorowski across the ground for Verity. Calling it towards Pat Brown at the back post. Remington unable to keep it in, but it will be a Jaffas throw. Goes to Mapu. Curling it in. Flicked on, but no one at the back post for Lambton to finish off a late chance. Still whistles from the Magic faithful below. And a few stoppages in the second half, so that's probably the reason why it's going on a little longer. The Magic fans want to celebrate the 3 points already. It's Fadcevic. Infield, maybe a chance for a fourth, just to put some icing on the cake this afternoon. They've turned around their form here at Magic Park. Oxborough tries to be a little too fancy there with the back heel. And Lambton intercept. Remington looks for Ryan Griffiths, his first NPL match without a goal this afternoon, unless he can find one late on here. Scored in all 4 previous matches. He's come up against a rock-solid Broadmeadow Magic backline, led by skipper Josh Piddington and John Griffiths back there, the player of the year for Broadmeadow last season. Here's Fajkovic down into the corner. Odell can't keep him contained, and then he gets bumped over by Ridge Mapu. Looks as though Magic aren't going to send too many players forward. Here it is. It's Mapu. Give him a little nudge. So Josh Piddington is going to come around at the back post, and Scott Pettit just tries to curl it inside the far post. So you'd sense now 6 minutes of stoppage time. Stephen Laurie will check his watch. Still play will go on. Smudge and CT downstairs for the man of the match presentation, the Sports Click man of the match post game here. Verity fires in the throw to Pat Brown. Jared Baker into the middle, and John Griffiths has to put it out for a corner kick. A reminder, as we said, Tuesday night, 7 p.m, Western Bears up against the Newcastle Jets at Magic Park. Here's Hay. Jared Baker. So that match up at Rockwell Automation Park is Scott Pettit down the far side of the ground. He's got Shane Paul at the back post. He's got Oxborough across to Shane Paul now. He scored against Lambton last season. He won't this year. Broadmeadow Magic claim all 3 points. And it's number 7 in a row. Super number 7 for Broadmeadow Magic. And they climb above Maitland into 5th place on the ladder. And they just seem unstoppable at the moment as they extend their unbeaten run against Lambton to 4 matches now. Lambton lose their 4th match of the season. And this defeat may prove costly with that Edgeworth victory at Jack McLaughlin Oval this afternoon, who will leapfrog them into 1st place on the ladder. Full time here at Magic Park. Broadmeadow Magic 3, Lambton Jaffas 1. We'll head down for the man of the match presentation just in a few minutes' time. Just check those scores at the other grounds. So Edgeworth at the moment, 2nd minute of stoppage time. They lead 4-1 against the Jets Youth. Lake Macquarie, they're up against Adamstown this afternoon. That match is completed. And full time it was 3-1 to Lake Macquarie there. So Adamstown unable to continue with the momentum they had in the second half against Valentine last weekend. Full time at Lylecar Oval, and Hamilton with the 3 points there after being down 1-0. So a reminder, the presentation down below. The Westpac Rescue Helicopter Shield, which will go to Broadmeadow Magic, which is what these two sides play for in this fixture. So just to look at the ladder now, Edgeworth jump above Lambton into 1st, Lambton in 2nd. So Edgeworth 1st on 33 points, Lambton in 2nd on 32. Valentine 3rd on 31 points, and rounding out the top 4, Hamilton Olympic 4th on 28, Magic 5th on 27. All right, we're going to head down to Damien Smith. He's with our man of the match, James Virgili.
Ready to go? Okay, we've got James Virgili, Broadmeadow Magic striker, with our Sports Click man of the match. Congratulations, mate. What were your thoughts on the game?
Yeah, cheers, Samo. Yeah, I thought that we played really well. It was probably our best game of the year, I'd say, and I think we've won 7 in a row now if you include the FA Cup, so we're hitting the form at the right time, and I think we're just outside the 4 now with Hamilton's win, so as long as we keep on getting our wins, everything else will take care of itself.
Mate, your form lately has been superb, and today there wasn't a bad player on the park for Magic. I thought all players played exceptional. For yourself, scoring a great goal, setting one up. But the other thing was a cover challenge on Ben Hay in the second half when you chase back. He's made the run beyond the back 4, and you virtually saved a sort of a half chance for him. Yeah, so Roos is always into me, and Faj telling us to get all the way back. And Faj always tries to tell me that I don't get back enough, so I thought that I'd get back for him. And playing with Mitch Oxborough, again, that combination, Oxborough, Vigili, goal, must be great. Yeah, I think Ox has set me up every game now almost, so it's been great him coming in, and he's always looking for us, so hopefully we can keep him for next year. Mate, you're 7 games undefeated in all competitions. What does it come down to, do you think? I think just after we got a few wins, everyone got confident. I think early on a few things didn't go our way, so everyone was just, a bit down on confidence, but now everyone confident. I think that's the main thing. Yeah, you play Adamstown next week. Thoughts on next week's game? Yeah, you can never underestimate them. They were down 2-0 against Phoenix, so we can't. So we have to take it, and just keep playing how we're playing, really. And finally, mate, congratulations, $50 voucher, Puma for Sports Click Man of the Match, and all the best for the rest of the year, mate. Yeah, cheers, mate. See you, buddy. I'll hand you over to Chris Turner with our Player of the Day and with Josh Pennington.
Thanks, fellas. I'll bust it in.
Well, we're here with Josh Pennington. It's our Harry Schnitzel Player of the Day. A couple of reasons, Pito, that we get you Player of the Day. One is that you come into the back line. You've been solid every time you play, but you really had the boys organised today. I thought the defence was really, really solid, and you continually marshalling around, keeping the defence nice and high was definitely a key.
Absolutely.
And you had a team. You're coming up against a team in very good form as well. How did you see the game panning out, and how important was the defensive line in your actions today as a group?
I mean, it's something that we've been working on over the last couple of weeks about getting tight and communicating, but not just the back 4, but just marshalling those guys in that second line of 4 in front of us. Having Mitch Oxborough back in there and Shane Paul's absolute workhorse, so having those set that line in front of us makes it easy for us at the back. So all we've got to do is keep talking to them and keep them moving. So. Yeah, those couple of guys in front of you, they were very pivotal to the group in actually keeping, Magic moving around the park. So they're important, especially the inclusion of Oxborough. How's he been in the group in the last couple of weeks? Yeah, I mean, he's slotted in quite well, a similar age group to some of the other boys, and grew up playing soccer with them as well. So it's another mate for them to come back in, so it's been easy, the transition to get into play with him. And like I said, having the other guys that just work off him, around him, you can see 7 in a row now, I think, so it's going quite well. And the other reason for the Player of the Day, the Harry Schnitzel Player of the Day, is that you're going to be a dad, mate. I am. I feel a little bit sorry for Lauren that there'll be 2 little piddos running around, but we're really excited for the news, and a change grenade coming my way January. Well, we noticed, we made a comment how focused you've been on your football over the last couple of months, so now the other job's done, you're on with this one. Yeah, there might not be too many more minutes that I can get away to play soccer, so I've got to make the most of them while they're here. So. Well, congratulations and well done again. Cheers, mate. Thank you. Legend. Thanks, guys. Cheers.
All right, so we'll just wrap it up in just a sec, but we've got the presentation here of the Elders Charity Shield, so we're just going to take this live. We'll just head over. Bogo from Magic is about to announce it on the loudspeaker. Here we go.
Look, obviously, congratulations to Broadmeadow for an outstanding performance. Rough for the boys, well done. To our boys, you should have dusted yourself off. It wasn't our best performance. There's probably more unforced errors in 90 minutes I saw just then than I've seen in probably 6 or 7 weeks. So we know what we've got to fix, and well done to Ruben. I think he's doing a great job, mate. With a good bunch of boys behind him. Thanks, buddy. Yeah, my team is a little bit the same. I don't think they're all at their best today, but my boys were fantastic, and for the last maybe 2 months, they're really good for each other, and we get their rewards and thoroughly deserved. So, we've got a team at the moment that are going really good in this league. But we're still trying to right the fair few wrongs from our first round. And we're in a must-win situation, so the boys have got to get up for it. So thanks everyone for coming. Communication Thank you, Ruben, for Coach Pennington as your captain to receive the plaque. Thank you everyone for your attendance, and remember, back at the Duke for the presentation for the match and presentations for the raffle and auction. Thank you.
Okay, we have no idea where Ben Homer is at the moment. He's sort of just ducked off. So, CT, final thoughts on the game?
I think Bart stitched us up, to be honest, and left us on our own.
So, CT, what are your final thoughts on the game?
Look, I think Broadmeadow thoroughly deserved to win this. Look, generally they won the midfield battle. It was very top turnover, a lot of turnover early in the game, but the way that they got forward and got at the defence of Lambton Jaffas was definitely the difference, and they created more opportunities and they scored. So, fortunately for them, and it was obviously a very, very popular home result.
And your thoughts on Lambton? Things they need to fix for the next game?
Well, Jimmy Pascoe just spoke about the amount of turnover, the unforced errors, and that was a key feature. And we said early in the game, look, they didn't actually hold the ball for long periods, and they need to address that.
So we better not take over the whole thing. Pout, come in. Where'd you go, mate?
I had to go get my phone for some interviews I've got to do in a sec, so that's where I went. But you did very well. So for the NPL show, I think you two are going to star the week I'm away. So
we'll work it out.
All right, so Tuesday night, 7 p.m. These two won't be there, but I'll be there with Peter Haynes, the Newcastle Jets, playing against Western up there. So join us then. Next weekend, the match of the round, Hamilton up against Edgeworth. Just quickly, your thoughts on that one?
Be another cracker, won't it? And how important it is for Edgeworth in the premiership run. They'll be looking forward to getting a win, and I think that Hamilton just got up in a late victory their game, so they'll be looking forward to keeping their semi-final hopes alive.
Hamilton keep bouncing back. They've been losing by 1 goal each week, and they've come back in 2-1 for the last 3 weeks. So Hamilton will get a bit of confidence from that. 3 wins on the trot, but for me, Edgeworth, they've got nothing to lose now. They've got everything to lose. They're playing for the premiership, and they're going to be very hard to beat.
And if we're going to pick a side, I'm going to find it hard to go past Edgeworth. Damien said earlier in the year they're just getting better and better, and I think they're really peaking at the right time.
Well, Magic are heading into the sheds. 3-1 winners this afternoon. We'll catch you later on during the week.
So I just said, but since they've already got something. Hey, he's done that.